Hello everyone, it's Stray Faye here with another episode of Variable Barricade. Alright, we're on Ichiya's third board, the big board. Last episode was primarily in Ichiya's perspective. He had a little conversation, I don't know if it's like a conversation or like his brother gave him a talking to, because Ichiya didn't really say that much to him, while Kazuya pretty much like threw down the gauntlet, I guess. He's like, if you're not gonna do anything, he's gonna take Hibari, because he had his eyes on Hibari first. And then we learned a bit about Ichiya's childhood, where his insecurities lie, living under the shadow of his much more talented twin brother, more cut out and ruthless for the business world, and why he decided to get attention from all the ladies because they treated him nicer. Alright, so let's continue onward. You reap what you sow. This looks like it's from Hibari. We're going back to Hibari's perspective, and maybe Hibari will like get up to speed, because we're learning a bit more about Ichiya's past, but like Hibari doesn't know that, and that's probably gonna be like a whole thing. Like Ichiya has to tell her. Alright, you reap what you sow. Grandfather tells me who Kazuya Shinzaki really is. This is what happens when I don't pay attention to warnings. So, like, keeping Kazu's number. You didn't know he's like actually the the fiance that the Branch family set up for you. He was just some guy on the street, although he did look a lot like Ichiya, to the point where I thought he was Ichiya. Alright, let's play this event. I'd enjoyed a rather pleasant date night with Ichiya, but at the end of it, Kazu suddenly appeared. No, he isn't Kazu. He is Kazuya Shinzaki. He claimed to be Ichiya's twin brother, and Ichiya didn't deny it. I needed to know more, and so I came to see grandfather. Like, what are you scheming? Like, why would we pull Ichiya into this? I see. You finally met him, eh? Who is he, grandfather? He claims to be Ichiya's twin brother. The Shinzaki group. You have heard of them, yes? I believe so. Aren't they the company that the current president grew from a small family business to a large corporation in a single generation? They may not be as large as we are, but they've increased their market presence a lot quite quickly of late. I hear they even intend to expand overseas. To be frank, if Kazu really is a member of that business-minded family, he must be a very impressive person indeed. Like, we don't even give that like consideration to Ichiya. That he is. He will one day be the next president of the Shinzaki group. But not only that. He is the mastermind behind this entire fuss around your marriage. Okay, so I don't know, maybe he gave like the Branch family like a good deal. And like Takamune in response, he's like, I got it. Alright, I'm gonna pull these like random quirky men out of nowhere to somehow barricade Hibari in. Then there was one reason I even had 4 suitors right now. One of my less scrupulous relatives wound up owing a large favor to a certain person. That person demanded betrothal to me in return, to stave him off and buy time. Grandfather sent 4 men to me as potential competing suitors. God, imagine like a distant relative like messes up and like all of a sudden you have to marry some random man. Guess it's not so out there as we think. In other words, it's Kazu who's been demanding my hand in marriage this whole time? Exactly. Oh my gosh. Really? It's him? My mind went blank from shock. Then, that day we met by chance. It wasn't coincidence like he said it was. He planned it from the start? That would probably, yeah. I'm guessing you probably set it up where Like, some thug is going to pretend to harm the lady and he'll swoop in and protect her. He even went so far as to use his own twin brother. That's horrible. I never took him as someone who was capable of such terrible things. I trusted Kazu. I'd opened up to him about things I didn't dare talk to anyone else about. And he... I'm not sure I would go quite so far. I blinked and felt the tension drain out of my clenched, shaking fist. No matter how cleverly they may hide them, I can sniff out a man with evil tendencies. If he truly was cruel, I would have refused his demands point blank. Come to think of it. Men like him succeed. Personally, I don't dislike him. You know that's high praise. If I recall correctly, Grandfather recently came close to complimenting him in his own weird way. Okay, so like, he's not entirely bad, but maybe he just doesn't want Hibari to like marry him, because he doesn't seem like a love-oriented man. He's like a very business-oriented man, and I don't know, like, in that kind of relationship, like, for one, like, the Tojo family would probably get like absorbed, and then Hibari would just kind of be under his thumb. A truly cold man wouldn't have come to me and simply asked for an opportunity. You would have pushed and pushed, trying to force your engagement to him. Not only that, he put together a presentation for me, showing how the Tojo family and the Shinzaki group might step into the international market side by side. Despite its frankly unbelievable scope, he laid out a detailed and reasonable plan of action which achieved that precise result. I don't know the circumstances behind how or why he contacted you, but he's demonstrated he's not a man with a cruel or greedy heart. Still, I refuse to consider him as a match for you. Wow, for him to get high praise from Grandfather of all people. Perhaps I ought to leave the question of Kazu's true personality to the side for now. There was definite profit for the Tojo family in a deal with the Shinzaki group. Kazu's skills were impressive. And yet, Grandfather had personal reasons to turn down an engagement to me. Why was that? I think it's probably just because of the power dynamic. Like, Kazu... Well, not only Kazu and Ichiya are, like, much older in, like, a power dynamic, but, Kazu has a lot more of a dominant personality, and I think Hibari would be able to handle that. I suppose it's because Kazu's real goal is to forge ties to the Tojo family. He doesn't want me for who I am. Grandfather mentioned something along those lines. And if that was so, that meant one thing. If Ichiya is Kazu's brother, then of the 4 suitors you presented to me, he is the one that you truly wish for me to choose? If profit for the Tojo family is a priority, yes. Okay, it's like, I mean, it shows like in the other routes, like Takamuni will forsake profit in order to make his granddaughter happy. Or do weird stuff like in Nayata's route, but okay. I thought as much. If I did choose Ichiya, that would thwart Kazu's designs on me, while simultaneously allowing the deal with the Shinzaki group to go through. And my nosy relatives would definitely accept a suitor of his caliber, too. But one question remained. If Ichiya really is Kazu's twin brother, why isn't his last name Shinzaki? That story is not for me to tell. If you want to know, you ought to ask him directly. Oh. He had a point. Whatever the circumstances, they must be thorny. Hearing them from a third party would be rude. And I had the feeling that Ichiya's past, which he seemed so reluctant to discuss, played no small part in the difference between surnames. Ah, well. That's why seeing you get together with Ichiya was the ideal result from where I'm standing. Oops, I didn't mash the A button a little too fast. I had no idea you were covertly meeting with Kazuya and personally handing him our confidential information. Now, about the suitors. I mean, it was kind of vague. She gave nicknames to all the suitors. Well, I only realized it when grandfather finally mentioned it. But yeah, from Kazuya's perspective, he'd only need that like vague information and he could like put together the puzzle pieces. We'd had this entire conversation together with him fully aware that I was not only acquainted with Kazuya, but also meeting with him personally. How did he know that? You have a bug on you, girl. I took the liberty of informing him of it, miss. What? I flinched as Kazuya walked into the room. You called him to let him know I was here in Kamakura. Grandfather nodded, seemingly unsurprised by his sudden appearance. It seems you did not heed my warning, Miss Hibari. How unfortunate. No, No one tells her anything. Like, come on, it's not her fault. Everyone's like giving her like half-truths and then getting mad at her. I opened my mouth and closed it again. He was right. Do not meet with him again, miss. Please. It's for your own good. Okay. So you say that, but give her some more information to work with. Be like, he's Kazuya, the CEO slash suitor that the Branch family like is trying to like throw at you. Like, don't meet with him. It's like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, if you don't give all the information, it just seems like you're being unreasonable. He had warned me, but I ignored that warning of my own volition. I got in touch with Kazu again, and it was no one else's fault but mine. No. I hate that, like, putting the fault on someone when you don't even give them, like, any information. If you just gave her enough, like, yeah, don't do it, but why? Like, she's not stupid. We just need more data here. Now he knew which of my suitors I was considering, and he knew I hadn't decided on any of them yet. I handed our greatest enemy exactly the information he needed to strike us at our weakest point. I mean, he could just say, no, I don't like you, no marriage. He says that if you haven't decided on any of your other suitors yet, he deserves a chance to compete as well, and he's utterly justified in asking for it. I'm sorry, grandfather. I was careless. But if you knew about who Ichiya and Kazu truly are, why didn't you tell me about them sooner? If I had, you would have viewed Ichiya as an enemy. I doubt you would have taken his attempt at courting you seriously, if you didn't shun him outright. Well, I mean, he's the weirdest one. He had, like, the least chance, like, of getting our attention versus the other three guys, or, like, more normal in comparison, but I couldn't deny that. This all happened because of a Shinzaki. I wouldn't have been able to put that thought aside. It would have been an automatic thought every time I saw Ichiya, preventing me from seeing him as his own person. In fact, I might have grown so callous towards him I could have hurt him deeply. Unsurprisingly, the Shinzaki group sent another request for a marriage interview. A strongly worded one. Oh no, not the strongly worded. A strongly worded email. He wants a chance to speak with you directly, it seems, whether through an interview or other means. I have no more excuses left to refuse him. Your temporary suitor isn't a deterrent either. He's well aware that was simply a ruse. You made sure of that. I'm sorry. And now, girl, you have nothing to apologize for. Like, they gave you nothing to work with. I effectively had to consider Kazuya as my 5th suitor now. That's what grandfather was saying to me. I really got careless, didn't I? But it was too late for regrets. Once my discussion with grandfather had ended, I went back to my original rooms on the main estate for the first time in a long time. We talked for longer than expected. It was deemed late enough that I might as well stay the night. I'm rather glad for that, actually. Trying to talk to Ichiya now would be extremely awkward. But... Pardon me, miss. I've brought night clothes for your evening and your evening toiletries. Thank you. After I left my meeting with grandfather, things became awkward enough anyway. Kasuga had never been a chatty sort, but he was being particularly quiet tonight. I'm sure he's angry with me for disregarding his warning. I just wanna... It's like, don't guilt trip her. I'm getting so mad on Hibari's behalf. It's like, they didn't tell her anything, and then they get mad at her for misstepping because they didn't give her enough information. Of course she's fumbling around in the dark. I stood off to the side, unable to find any words to say as he briskly turned down my bedsheets. If that'll be all... Kasuga, wait! When he turned to leave the room, I automatically called out to stop him. I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. No, miss. You needn't apologize. This was primarily my fault. What? I told you never to meet with him again. You told me that you wouldn't, and okay, Mr. Drama Queen. I was foolish enough to believe you. Oh, Jesus. Kasuga, you're very manipulative. Kasuga looked at me, his eyes as cold as glaciers. I'm about to slap you across the head, boy. If I'd known this outcome might even be a possibility, I'd have taken your phone from you and deleted your entire Wiz account myself. Wait, Kasuga? I wasn't aiming to betray you or anything. You needn't worry, Miss Hibari. A minor incident like this isn't nearly justification enough for me to turn my back on you. I breathed a sigh of relief. But know that there'll be no second chances. Okay, are we gonna, like, pony up the info then? I hope that you'll be more careful in the future and not do anything to disappoint me again. God, this is so toxic. Like, I'm only giving you half the textbook, but you better get an A. His eyes stabbed into me, making it clear that I could still lose him, and that he's willing to hold that fear over my head. I'm sure you must be tired after today's events. I suggest you retire for the night. What in the world am I even doing? I'd come to Kamakura simply to ask about Ichiya's peculiar circumstances, but all I'd learned was that my own carelessness had put the noose around my neck. Worse, I disappointed Kasuga. I'm tired. This was supposed to have been a fun day, and it honestly had been, up until the last minutes of my date with Ichiya. After that, shocking revelations were lobbed at me rapid fire, one after another. I wonder what those two talked about. I thought back on the two of them and how it looked like Ichiya was actually afraid of his brother. I still had no idea what was going on between the two of them. But I hope Ichiya didn't end up crying again. For some reason, that was what worried me the most. And the poor babies. The poor 26-year-old baby. You reap what you sow. Okay. Yeah, I don't like the blaming of Hibari. Like, she didn't really... With what information she had, she honestly didn't do anything wrong. Okay. So we got these branching chapters here. Loveless marriage. I asked Tsumugi and Aramura some advice regarding a possible marriage to Kazuya. Their opinions vary. Okay, we're having some girl talk here. Alright, let's play this event. Morning came, and with it, a new school week. I ended up going straight from Kamakura to school, without stopping by the vacation house first. Maybe I can distract myself by paying extra attention in class, but... Good morning, Hibari. Did you enjoy your date with Mr. Mitsumori? Yeah, I'm not surprised she would ask. The moment I set foot in the classroom, Tsumugi bounded up to me with a bright smile on her face. I sighed. But, considering how much she had helped me, I at least owed her an update on things. The date, at least, was fun enough. Oh, wonderful! Mr. Mitsumori must have tried so very hard. Good for him. Well, how did it end? What happened afterwards? It was like a soap opera, Tsumugi. Don't tell me it was simply a nice evening out for dinner, nothing more. That can't be all. That would be nice. Well, no. That wasn't all. I have a marriage interview now. Huh? A marriage interview? Really? Then you and Mr. Mitsumori are gonna make things official? Is that what happened? No. Their interview is with his brother. What? Like, whoa. Back up a few steps. It's making me so confused. I like something you'd only see on TV here, girl. After class, Tsumugi took me to the Terrace Cafe. Well, practically dragged me is a more correct way of putting it. And that's it. It's all such an unbelievably confused mess now. Aramura had been waiting there for us. The three of us sat down and I explained everything to them. When I told them who Kazu really was, both of them stared at me in shock. Whoa. You're telling me that guy's really the Shinzaki heir and the mastermind behind all this drama? Do you know much about the Shinzaki group, Aramura? Some. They made a business deal with my parents. All the rumors say the next company's prize is supposed to be some super talented and ambitious businessman who's still pretty young, all things considered. Wait, slow down. What's going on? Can someone explain how this all came out of the blue? So he's like, what? It's like Aramura, I kind of get because her family's like into tech. Tsumugi's like what, from like a flower arranging family? maybe not getting that much info here. Who in the world is this gentleman that you say you've been meeting with in secret? Oh, right. We didn't loop you in on that, did we? Also, Aramura was like the alibi for like a few meetings. Well... What? Hibari, you've been trysting with another gentleman in addition to your 4 suitors? Okay, it's not really a tryst, but... How could you keep such an incredible secret from me? Oh, I feel so left out. Probably because you'd get all slobbery over it, like now. Exactly. I did feel a little bad about not telling her. But I'd already had my fill of her high energy reactions to every little thing going on with my official suitors. So, we've got everyone on the same page now. Right. Let me get to the point then. So, what do the two of you think I have to do about Kazu? Well, for one, do you like him? Would you consider him? I guess. You ought to go to that marriage interview and tell him right to his face that you refuse him utterly. There isn't a romantic bone in his body. I'm completely against this matchup. Okay, Tsumugi the romantic. Ironic, because like her own situation is like also like political or what's suited for her family. She just wants a romance for Hibari. I want you to find a person whom you love from the bottom of your heart and pledge yourself to them in blissfully happy marriage, Madam Hibari. Tsumugi. Oh. Personally, I think this is a good offer. You should probably give it some thought. Okay, Noah's on board. I mean, from like a logical perspective, this would be great for the company. But it's kind of odd for her to also agree to that, because she's more flippant with her relationships. She like bounces across many men. I don't know, maybe thinks they could do like a free love situation. It's like, yeah, we're married, but I'm still gonna go out. What? Aramura? Both Tsumugi and I stared at Aramura in disbelief. What? Is it really that weird? You yourself said that unemployed guys are out of the question. Oh, okay. I guess he does tick off the box like employed. Yes, rich CEO man. Flip that around and you want a guy who's got the good job, right? And you're not gonna find a better businessman than the next Shinzaki Group president. Well... But it would be a loveless marriage. And you won't approve of that? Really? Yukano. Sheesh. Hypocritical much. She just wants for Hibari what she doesn't have for herself. Also, it's getting very hot in this room. My sister turned on the heat. Which means my room is gonna become a sauna. Huh? Oh. I suddenly realized what Aramura was obliquely alluding to. I can't believe I'd almost forgotten. Yeah, I was like all the way in the common route that we learned about Tsumugi's marriage. Tsumugi's marriage will be political. Her family already arranged it for their own benefit. Yeah, but she didn't want it, and she doesn't want that for you. Romance and marriage aren't the only paths to true happiness. My happiness is the freedom to live as I choose. I don't need any other kind. I'm not upset that I've been betrothed to him. I've no regrets either. She was fond of her fiance, I'm sure, but I don't think she felt actual love for him. Tsumugi's confident expression right then assured me that her point of view was another perfectly valid way to regard marriage. But, I'd say that my circumstances are peculiar, not necessarily applicable. But you're confident that you'll be happy in your marriage, even if you don't love your partner, right? Yeah, but you're not Tsumugi, Hibari. Tsumugi went quiet, looking at me helplessly. Saying no would be as good as admitting she'd made the wrong choices about her own life. I'm sorry. But saying yes would mean she had no good reason not to give me her blessing to effectively do the same. But are you gonna really model your life on your friend's life? Hibari. I'm sorry, Tsumugi. I know that you're concerned for me. But honestly, I'm not sure I even know what a happy marriage entails for me. I can't even picture it. And I was like, guys are like way too young to be like thrown into marriage. You guys are like 16, 17. Not even out of high school. I didn't know enough about romance to say that a marriage purely for love would really be best for me. But on the other hand, I didn't have enough confidence in myself to say I could take a purely political marriage and make it a happy one either. I couldn't be sure I'd do either one right, really. I mean, you have the means and resources to do a love marriage. Like, you can support any of your 4 unemployed suitors. All the bums. Though you know. The fact you're even thinking about this at all means you see Kazuya as a valid choice, right? Hell, I'd say you've got the hots for him pretty bad, really. What? Aramura's statement hit me like a punch to the face, and I almost slapped the table in outrage. I mean, I guess you kind of clicked with him a little bit, like, as like a more normal candidate. I do not. I most definitely do not have the hots for Kazu. Yeah, no, that's a lie. If you didn't like him at least a little, you wouldn't have kept begging me to be your alibi when you went to meet him in secret. I don't look at Kazu in that way. Honest. He's more like a reliable older brother I can lean on. Okay. God, I get it. I'll take your word for it for now. Ugh. But you at least admit that you would like to live with him more than some rando off the street, right? All I am saying is that, don't you think that makes him a viable compromise? If you do have to marry him, at least you won't, like, despise him right off the bat. Well... Aramura had an extremely good point. If I did wind up marrying Kazu, even if there wasn't any love between us, I knew that we would at least be able to build our family on mutual respect. But, he deliberately tricked Hibari. I mean, that's kind of true of all the guys, really, but except for Nayata. Nayata's innocent in all this because he's just dumb. His nice big brother character is merely an act. I'm sure underneath his mask, he's actually a snake. He tricked me. It was all an act. I said as much the same thing to grandfather when I met him yesterday. I understood completely where Tsumugi was coming from. But you don't look like you buy that. True. Hibari, why? Tsumugi looked at me, obviously worried. I took a moment to choose my words carefully. Yes, when I found out he's been deceiving me, I was shocked. I was honestly mad at him for it too. But when I calmed down and thought things over, something seemed off. Off? How? Well, there's the Kazu, who selflessly offered to give me life advice when he barely knew me. And then there's the Kazuya Shinzaki, who used deception and underhanded tricks in his quest to marry me. But the two of them just don't seem like the same person. There's a third brother. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe he was like looking out for you a little bit. He didn't put his like own hat in the ring immediately. If you want to talk, I'm totally okay with listening. Sometimes opening up to someone you don't know very well is easier than talking to someone you're close to. I was only kidding. When I help you, it makes me feel like I'm watching out for a flighty little sister. I can't turn away, if that makes sense. Even if he did have the ulterior motive of getting information out of me, the advice he offered was still extremely helpful. He helped me understand what I was feeling and get my thoughts in order. I hadn't trusted him for no reason. I had a basis for it, and that's why I hesitated to say what he did was entirely for selfish reasons. That's why I want to confirm things, I suppose. I want to ask him about what's going on directly. I was hesitant, but the words sounded true to me once I said them. The other two looked at me worriedly. God, they're honest to a fault. Sometimes. If he tricks you again, don't come crying to me. If that's what you really wish, Hibari, then I will respect it. But like Aramura said, I want you to make sure you are extremely careful. Please? I will, of course. With that, my mind was made up on what to do about Kazu. For the moment, at least. Even grandfather was having trouble handling him. He was undoubtedly going to be a tricky adversary. I'll have to stay alert while dealing with him. Alright, loveless marriage cleared. We can probably do the other chapter. Is this also going to be Hibari's perspective, or... Okay, this is Ichiya. Deep trauma. Okay. Ichiya confesses who he really is to the other suitors. They all decide to fight off Kazuya. Oh, okay. The other four guys like, this is war. Let's play this event. So yeah, here's what went down during our date. Once Taiga collared me, I was steered to the living room. There, I explained everything to all three of them. About being born a Shinzaki. About my twin brother, Kazuya. About how, somewhere along the line, he got to know Hibari. And... then he crashed the end of your date and declared that he's gonna steal your girl away from you. Damn, your brother's got some balls. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around the idea that Ichiya has a twin brother. Well, I can say one thing is in his favor. At least he doesn't constantly make strangled attempts to flirt with any woman who crosses his path. Yeah, the lady will appreciate that, I'm sure. I wasn't in the mood to respond to their teasing. Oh no, he's like, your brother. Another like, your brother isn't as insufferable as you, at least. I figured all three of them were more shaken than their banter led on, though. Each of them had expressions that didn't match their jovial tones. And I would think, like, Taiga would probably know the situation a little bit more. Because he's like, he has an in. He's working behind the scenes here. And you think Shion would know stuff too, just because... I mean, maybe he's not, like, paying attention, but, like, he has access to that info. And then Naita, he's just skipping along in life. So, what do we do now? He may have spoken only to Ichiya, but in truth he was making that declaration to all of us, correct? I'm against it. I don't want a person like him to get Hibari. It isn't right. I'm with you on that, bro. No matter how convincingly he tries to spin things, I'm not willing to take this all lying down. And it isn't polite of him to interrupt our efforts. I know, coming in a little late in the game. You got that right. We put a lot of effort into this already. How long have we been living here? If she picks one of us, that's one thing. But for some dude to come waltzing in out of nowhere to sweep her away? Yeah, I don't like that. That sucks. For once, I agree with you. Okay, well, since we're all on the same page, I say we all join forces and work together to protect Hibari. Sounds like a unanimous decision to me. So yeah, Ichiya, let's call this an official ceasefire between us. We'll all help you fight off your brother. Hello, Ichiya? Huh? What's wrong, Ichiya? This is the part where we all get in a circle and put our hands in the middle and go, yeah, come on! Go team, go! Taiga and Nayada were trying to be supportive. They really were. But I couldn't respond. I believed them. I honestly did. They probably meant it when they said they wanted to protect Hibari. You gotta believe in yourself though, Ichiya. But... for me, Kazuya was a monstrous opponent. Say, Ichiya, you are serious about Hibari, correct? Well, of course. Then we've got to fight. If we don't, your big brother's gonna steal her away. Ugh, come on, bro. What's with all this waffling, huh? Get yourself together. Taiga's irritation chafed my old wounds. Kazuya and my parents staring at me in exasperation, asking me why I took so long to get results. I know, okay? Just don't rush me like this, please. But Taiga had no way of knowing that. He couldn't hear my thoughts. Instead, he grew more irritated and thudded his way over to me. Listen, Ichiya, you've got two choices. Only two. And silence ain't one of them. Do you want to let your brother whisk her away? Or do you want her to stay with you? Which is it? With only those two options to choose from, it was no mystery what I would pick. I don't want to lose her, of course. I'm still hoping that she'll choose me. Then, it's just, I'm sorry. Can I leave and get some rest for tonight? Naito looked at me, his eyes brimming with expectation. I felt my own gaze drift away. A ton of stuff has happened this evening, and I'm tired. Before anyone else could say anything, I got up and tottered unsteadily out of the room. I ran away, basically, again. Right, he's hopeless. From how he acted, I assume his brother has been a considerable dark presence in his life. Perhaps he harbors some sort of complex related to him. If so, his reluctance would be understandable. But he'll get better, right? I'm sure if he sees Hibari again, he'll be all for helping us out. I mean, he did say out loud that he didn't want to lose her. Yeah, let's call it for tonight then. We'll get together again when she's home tomorrow and work out a plan. I could hear the others still talking in the living room, making plans. Their voices were too muffled for me to make out what they were saying, but from their tone I could feel their optimism and enthusiasm. They're strong. Though they were all vying for the same position, it was because of their strength that we hadn't turned into a backbiting nest of angry males. We were even friendly. Not only that, I think it had started around the day I'd gotten sick of myself. I'd broken down. I could be imagining things, but I almost think they're actually supporting me. It had really seemed so a minute ago, when they were kind enough to view Kazuya as a rival to all of us instead of just themselves. But not just that. It was almost as if they were giving me a little push, telling me Kazuya was my rival to conquer. That's pretty amazing. All of them had been making their own efforts to grab Hibari's attention. It could have been easy for them to toss all that work out of the window, especially to help me. Compared to them, I'm so pathetic. I do want to fight back, really. I know if I run away now, I'll regret it for the rest of my life. But me beat Kazuya. Oh, thanks to you, I was able to tidy up that little issue quite nicely. Thanks. When I couldn't face him even then. You're too soft, Ichiya. Ichiya, listen. The world isn't kind. You can't always stroll along at your own leisurely pace. And you can bet there's no room for leisurely strolls in the life of the Tojo family heir. It's okay, Ichiya. There are plenty of other girls out there who are much better suited to you. I can't. It's impossible. There's no way I can outdo Kazuya. But admitting as much would be the end. Taiga told me I had 2 choices, but that wasn't right. From the start, I had only one choice. Whether I could win or not wasn't the issue. I had to fight. If I don't, I'll lose Hibari forever. That fear overpowered me, leaving me slumped over. A slumped over, trembling mess. Oh god. He's like, probably thinking he's hopeless. Like, he couldn't even, like, win his own family, like, to be on his side, like, over Kazuya. Like, what hope does he have to, like, keep anybody then? That's what he fears the most. Poor guy. Deep trauma cleared. We gotta have to deal with that. We're gonna have to deal with that trauma. Need some therapy. Alright. Okay, I want to keep going. But I do think I need a break. At least the heater, like, kicked in, and it's, like, drying out my throat, like, extra hard. Alright, let's save over here. Okay, in the 30s. We're in the 30 save files. Okie doke. Alright, anywho. Hope you guys are having a fun and relaxing time. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.